a tournament where my friend John said he found a body in the bushes over there. I ran over there because I'm a healing monk to try and help, but obviously my magic wasn't strong enough because the dude's body was missing a head. So my friend decided to try and use a necromancer spell, which didn't work, which I knew it wouldn't. And apparently we contaminated the crime scene because that spell uses a lot of glitter.
Your Honor, I object!
And why is that, Mr. Reed?
Because it's devastating to my case!
I gotta tell you, you brighten my day, ma'am. All right?
That's what the last guy said, and then he sued me.
Hey, happy Sunday, happy Mother's Day. Welcome in. If you have not been here before, I am Britt Happens. We like to cover cases that have a lot of irregularities. So if you think that's the kind of thing for you, or if you'd like to share it with a friend, please feel free to subscribe or share with that friend. This is not a secret club. Thank you all so much for being here. We are raising money for Karen Reed today. Thank you so much, Carla, for becoming a member already. And looks like there was something from the petty paralegal. Oh, thank you so much. So glad that there's already so many people here. So we have Mazza, who's going to be tracking our donations to the Karen Reed Defense Fund today. We're supporting Karen. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him up. Hey, Mazza, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much. Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there.
Yes, the baby mamas, the mamas, the baby mamas.
Yep.
And then I also have Carrie here already.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, thank you so much for joining. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. My oldest daughter is about to graduate from high school in a couple weeks and go off to college and leave me forever.
So only 4 more years till she graduates college.
Right. She's graduating from high school in 2 weeks, leaving me forever. So it was a good day.
Oh,
yeah.
Congratulations to her.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And just to kind of give y'all a fair warning who are watching, it is thunderstorming like crazy where I am. So if I freeze, just hang tight. I'll come back. I've got like this windy sun shower kind of
I
thing
can see
going
the
on.
reflection on the left side of your screen. I can see the reflection in the window, and I can see palm trees or whatever flailing around in the background. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of wind, and it's just dumping. There's still sunlight. Oh yeah, there's just never a dull day here. Hey Romy, happy Mother's Day to you. Romy is so awesome. So Romy gave for my trip to Massachusetts this past week. She ended up not being able to go to this event. It was the Crime Junkie live tour. They're a really popular podcast, and they were doing a whole live tour, and they were going to be in Boston, and she ended up not being able to go. So she gifted the tickets to me. So I ended up going with Beatriz and Lauren DC kind of for a girls' night to that. It was really cool. Second row seats too. It was awesome. So thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, Romy. So where are we at, Mark, as a starting point for tonight? And we'll try to set a realistic goal.
Sure, absolutely. So we are at $70 right now. A third donation, 3 donations have come in from Sherry, Christina, and then an anonymous donation. So we've got 3 donations, one for $20, 2 for $25 that have come in. Which is fantastic. That's already roughly 5 minutes. And we actually had 2 donations already in for this show to Karen Reed's Defense Fund prior to going live, and 1 came in already. So that's we were live. So that's great news. $70. I would I usually set my goals a little bit at a time. So I do a 500, 1,000, and then 1,500. So I'll say this. Let's try to go for, we'll have 3 tiers. We'll have a bronze goal of 500, a silver goal of 1,000, and a gold goal of 1,500 tonight. Then we might even surprise ourselves. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Well, I hope everybody's feeling generous because Karen definitely needs. Oh, thank you so much, Pinky Promises. He or she was the anon donor. So thank you.
What do you want us to put? Do you want us to put like Brit's fundraiser, or how do you want it designated?
Yeah, that's fine. Just put Brit Happens Fundraiser or something like that in your commentary.
Britt, is the defense link pinned to the top of the chat by any chance?
It is. It is linked at the top of the chat.
Okay.
And
She freeze on us. She get struck by lightning, Mazza.
Yeah, she might have been. Yeah, I'm right. Yeah.
Sorry, Mods, if you would be so kind as to maybe intermittently add that in the chat to the link to Karen.
Well, what I'm gonna do is if the link's pinned, I'm gonna put a special message that's gonna direct there. I'm gonna use the same one I do for my show. We'll just say I'm trying to copy it. My system's being very dysfunctional right now with me. I'm trying to copy my little key message I have, and it's just giving me a hard time. But I'll put a quick little message. LJ, congratulations on getting banned from the chat, buddy. Good job.
Oh no, already?
Yeah, someone tried to
we
troll.
Go.
I'll put.
I already got him out of there.
Oh, you do good. All right, I got a nice little message I'm going to put in here, right here. So here we go. You're going to see it come through in a second. There we go. If you want to pin that every so often, Brett, that's perfect right there. That's it. And then it just directs them to the link.
Sure.
That works. Yep. I'll put that in every so often for you. So if you want to drop the message or whatever and add it.
Okay. Yeah. And I'll keep it starred too.
Yeah.
And it is, the link itself is pinned to the top. So if you guys are having a hard time finding it, it's very easy. If you were to Google Karen Reed Defense Fund, it's in the Pay It To website, but there's also a direct link pin right there at the top of the chat. And I will try, if you guys do end up just putting super chats in, I'll try to calculate how much of it gets, because just bear in mind, YouTube will keep some of it, and I believe it's taxed as well. But I will go ahead and forward anything else over to the defense fund from there as well. So.
YouTube takes 30% plus taxes you have to pay on it as well. So,
yeah.
Usually probably about $5 out of every $10, is pretty much yours.
I think Brian has a certain calculation he does, LTL, so I'll have to ask him too. He might be popping in here tonight.
Good.
Also, if he has time. It was one of those, okay, I will if I can. So I just dropped him the link just in case. So yeah. Well, guys, what did y'all do today for your Mother's Day?
I had brunch with my family, and it would have been just a perfect day, except like Yuri Buchanan has taken up like a space in my brain, and I cannot stop thinking about the cross exam, and just there's so many different things. I spent all day yesterday focusing on the snowbank, Higgins not seeing over the snowbank, and just like trying to wrap my head around that. I mean, there was enough snow to track a cat, so there could not have been a snowbank. And it seems like Yuri, maybe you'll give him the benefit of the doubt, asked Higgins, what snowbank? There wasn't enough snow, because Higgins went on to say, well, I plowed the driveway. And that was an acceptable reason. It made sense to Yuri Buchanan. Oh, okay. Like there's a trace of snow. You plowed the trace of snow that made a bank as so big that you could not see a body. I'm just trying to wrap my head around all these different things that's just one example of many that have like consumed me all weekend. But in all honesty, I hope he's on cross all day tomorrow. I'm living for it. I love it. I mean, I hope they just go through the Sallyport video. Like I could go a whole other day, to be honest. It was great.
They haven't even gotten to the Sallyport video yet. they still have a lot to cover
Yes.
as far as Yuri
Since
goes.
he's going to be the representative MSP, go through it all.
Precisely. So I think it might just be another full day, possibly maybe even bleeding over a little bit into Tuesday. What are your thoughts on that, Mazza?
Oh, it's going to be a long cross. I mean, it's been long so far, but because he's also representing really Proctor to some degree as well, it's definitely going to be really the primary cross-examination of this entire trial, as far as I'm concerned. I know Jen McCabe and the Alberts or whatever are big witnesses, but really this is a state police investigation. At the end of the day, this is kind of the really nuts and bolts of the whole process. In terms of the investigation. And I do think that this is going to be an ongoing matter that needs to be very thoroughly done. I think that the defense has been brilliant because they got the Brian Higgins text messages read out in court, and they wanted to establish very carefully that Karen and Brian Higgins were involved to some degree, whatever that was or was not, of course. With text messages, that was very much read out before the court. And then there's the waterfall footage of Higgins kind of up in arms and kind of looking like the Macho Man Randy Savage when he feuded with Hulk Hogan in 1989, like, I'm gonna get you, oh yeah. It's kind of like that. And Brian, what's going on? That's my boy Brian. I love Brian. Man, it's a man. He says I'm on a generational run right now. I think he said one time. That's one of my favorite comments I've ever gotten in any show I've ever heard in my life was from Brian. But he's like, oh yeah, John. He's kind of like that, taunting him in the waterfall. He's like, come on, fight me now. Come outside. But that's a great way of presenting yourself if you're the defense. Karen and Brian had some level of involvement. Brian Higgins is really upset. And then here's the footage of Brian and John. Oh yeah, wrestling, he's wrestling gesturing to John O'Keefe, like John O'Keefe's Hulk Hogan, and the mega powers have exploded. Right in the middle of this bar. And you even got Chris grabbing at his arm, like, dude,
holding him back.
And the whole aspect of this trial to get Karen acquitted is to establish reasonable doubt. I told you before I went on the show, I went for a 5-mile walk today. Got a lot of exercise. And I was thinking about things. And, when I out for a walk and about halfway through, I'm just thinking about the waterfall video. I'm like, this was something that wasn't presented in the first trial. Microdots dug it up. JFK and James Jackson did some, got some awareness out there for it to some degree that I'm aware of as well. And kind of the defense kind of caught that and said, this could be a really beneficial part. And this was one of those slip through the cracks moments, because the problem is there's so much material here that even the first time around, even the defense couldn't capture. That's nothing negative about it. It's just there's so much stuff that you literally need the internet sleuths like a Microdots or any other content creators that sometimes drum up some stuff and say, hey, look at this waterfall footage right here. He's acting like he's the Macho Man in a pro wrestling feud in the middle of this waterfall. And they're going at it. And this is before, anything happened at 34 Fairview. And what's great about this is you already have the prosecution having played Karen's voice messages to John and trying to sell like Karen's angry, Karen did this, but it's debatable because she's concerned about his well-being. But now the defense has now successfully played had the Brian Higgins texts read, and then there's the footage, and it all comes together to establish reasonable doubt that, guess what? There's nothing on camera. Even when they play the CF McCarthy's footage of Karen and John trying to say that she's drinking, Karen gives John a very, a smile that any woman that loves her man would, caressing him a little bit, whatever, they're good. Everything's fine, but there's nothing on camera, video wise, that ever shows Karen and John in any kind of argument whatsoever. And the only information they have that Karen was ever angry with John was about his whereabouts. Right. And that's when she couldn't find him. That's when she's calling him and leaving voice messages. That's all they have. But when they have video footage of anyone getting into it with John that night, it's Brian Higgins. And again, to be clear, this doesn't mean Brian Higgins did anything. It just means that he should be rightfully a suspect. And I mean, John could have walked in that house and maybe him and Brian got in an argument. Maybe somebody else jumped in and attacked him. Maybe the dog attack. It could have been something like that. But it means that Karen Reed really, in essence, shouldn't be a primary subject because her voice messages or a reaction to him not responding. And then she gets angry and angry and angry, and she's up all night. No, I mean, a woman that hates you will ghost you. A woman who loves you will call you and text you and leave voice messages and cuss you out and shoo you out. Yes, I know it sounds backwards, but it's true.
It
If
is.
she loved John, she would have never called him. If she didn't care about him, she would have never called him or left any messages to him. She would have been like, whatever. She would have just been gone. But she's angry because she wants to know where he is because she's in a panic. And she was the one to charge back to 34 Fairview. I'll yield back.
You bring up such a good point right there. There's this meme that has been going around for years. There's no actual picture. It's just a saying where, you know, you don't need to worry when I'm angry and talking a lot. What you really have to worry about is when I go quiet and I don't have anything to say anymore. That's not the exact verbiage of it, but you know, when somebody is aggressively calling, texting, asking where, you know, somebody is, that is a sign that of course you want them alive. Of course you're still caring. Why else would you be putting that amount of time, energy, and effort into communicating with that person? So yeah, there is a level of concern there. And this is really backfiring in multiple ways. Not only is it showing that, you know, there is reasonable doubt as to Karen's motive, but it's also in that same effort creating a motive for a possible third party culprit. So yeah, this is really encompassing a lot of different backfires.
And it's just another example of the just lack of curiosity, lack of any interest by the police in finding out what happened here. Like they just used that video to count Karen's drinks. They're not interested in like actually finding out what happened here. And that just is just one example. They have this video in front of them. They have the text. They see this fight and it never occurs to them. And I believe it does occur to them. And this is intentional, but it never, you know, they don't follow up. They don't say, Higgins, what the hell? What's going on here? They don't call out Higgins' absurd story about not seeing John because of a snowbank when there was only enough snow to track a cat. That all these things like that. Someone commented on one of my post about this, saying like they should have had a teacher asking the questions because these stupid excuses, like they don't fly with a mom, they don't fly with a teacher. Like, oh, there was a snowbank. You call them out on that stuff. And no, these police, a sergeant, Yuri Buchanan is a sergeant in the Massachusetts State Police. He is tasked with supervising others and just is not at all fazed, not at all curious, not at all asking questions, content to just accept everyone on their word, take their word for it as gospel, and not really look into what happened here.
Yeah,
they got a call from Jim McCabe on the way to the hospital, and that was it. They were getting the vehicle, and they had solved it. The end. Nothing else mattered.
And that's all they need. That is all they need for an acquittal, is to be able to say, look, everybody who was directly involved in this investigation went off of the bad information of 1, 2, maybe 3 people. You know, whether it was intentionally fabricated or whether they just somehow.
She froze again. But like Mazza, like you had said about, you know, not even suggesting that Higgins is a suspect, and not even that, like that, it's like rule him out. look at it, turn over every rock so that when you then get in front of a jury, you can say, we looked at everything and we ruled out all these things. And this is the evidence shows that Karen did it, but like Paul Gallagher and the Ring camera. I didn't need to look at it. I knew. I saw a screenshot of a package on a porch, and therefore I didn't even ask for it. Like, ask for it. Ask to look at it. So that to show that you investigated this case, looked into everything, and then you maybe won't look like an idiot on the stand.
Yep. Precisely. Hey guys, just a reminder, we are here as a Mother's Day fundraiser for Karen Reed's Defense Fund. I'm going to share this.
Oh, she froze. She's going to post the link into the chat there for you guys to click the link. And then just be sure when you make a donation to Karen's Defense Fund to write Brit happens, because sometimes Brit does happen. Sometimes freezing happens as well. There's a storm going on in Florida right now.
Yeah, y'all be praying for this internet connection.
Yeah. Lauren DC is in the house right now.
Yes. We'll see.
We're at total donation of $149 so far. I've got on my total count.
I just sent one in for you, Britt, with a message for Karen in honor of Michael Proctor's comments about her ass.
Well, let me go
from one girl, a girl with no ass, to another, because wasn't that one of the things, like Fall River accent, no ass?
Yep.
Is that babe with smoke?
Yeah, she's a babe.
No ass.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Britt's frozen again, but she's going to the. There she is. She's back.
There she is.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, y'all just hang tight if I freeze out. Okay. Sure. Yes, Carrie, that was awesome.
Listen, I can relate.
Thank you so much from the anonymous donor, and thank you, Carrie. Yeah, so $140 you said, Mazza?
$149.
Yay.
Wonderful. Yeah, thanks so much for.
And it's only been 23 minutes.
Well, shucks, you are right. So what do you think about the shoe thing? Because a lot of the viewers of the trial are just chomping at the bit to see that brought up with Buchanan on the stand. There's apparently a big difference. I mean, we saw the photo of a shoe with a black sole in the yard, and then the one that gets pulled out in front of the jury has a white sole. So do you think that'll be addressed?
I don't know. I can't imagine that it's a different shoe. I know a lot of people have theories. I just don't know. But the thing about the shoe with me is that little mix up with the evidence bag. I can talk about that part, and maybe Mazza can talk about whether it's a different shoe. But that moment on the stand where he's pulling out the shoe supposedly from the hospital, and it's from 34 Fairview, I think that just shows the carelessness of the investigation. It was just highlighted right in front of the jury, like with Tolly last year being like, there are 3 pieces of taillight in this bag. Oh, Alan Jackson says pull them out. There are 5. How did that happen? Oh, I don't know. That was just a great example right in front of their eyes about the sloppiness and the carelessness that they have with this evidence that then was built on and cross with Yuri by Jackson about who did you give this taillight to? I have no idea, etc. Will is probably the best person to talk about the shoe.
Yeah, you couldn't have come at a better time, Will. We just brought up the shoe. So welcome in. Glad to have you.
Glad to be here.
So yeah, we were just talking about this damn shoe with a black sole that was found at 34 Fairview, and then the one that Buchanan pulled out the other day before the jury had a white sole.
Yeah, the shoes are clearly different.
So do you think that'll get brought up before the jury? Do you think that'll get addressed?
I hope so. I'm betting everything I got on it. Not really. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't make any difference because there's already so much exculpatory evidence. But I will have satisfaction by the end of this trial. I was right about the shoe. I know I was right about the shoe. Yeah.
I think you'll get your vindication. I think you will.
I think so too. I mean, I have it as far as I'm concerned because I have eyes and I can see it.
True.
You know
Just like you can see that the scratches on the arm are from a dog.
Right. Now, I mean, again, like I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference in that case. It could if they used it, I think, but you know, I mean, that's why they're the rock star attorneys and I'm just a YouTuber, you know. But I mean, at the end of the day, let's just be honest here. You know, what I don't do for acolytes. Okay, I do for the people, Britt, and you know, I wake up in the morning. I piss excellence, perfection, but most importantly, humility. Okay, most importantly, humility.
Yeah,
very important.
Drink a hot cup of it every morning.
Yeah,
always. But you know, it kind of goes to how much we really have been gaslit with more than just the shoe. Obviously, the taillight, you know, the freaking library footage. I mean, there has been, like you said, so much that we've looked right at and seen with our own two eyes and then been told, oh no, this is nothing of consequence. This doesn't mean anything at all. I mean, it's kind of befuddling. So, you know, I would say that this is just another piece that can kind of add to that pile for the jury of reasonable doubt and actually begin to maybe make them question, okay, was there planting? Obviously someone had to go out of their way to replace that shoe if it is indeed a different one.
This is what I would do if I was a defense attorney or if I was in Alan Jackson's shoes, no pun intended. I would present it this way. I would, on the screen, put up the image that shows the shoe covered in snow. And I would ask Yuri to please identify for the court what color the sole of the shoe is. And I would have him answer that question. And I would say, you're saying that the sole of the shoe is whatever it was. I think it was black in that image. I would then say to him, you brought evidence with you, right? You brought that big blue Rubbermaid container with you. Do you have the shoe in there right now? Would you please open up that bag again and show us that shoe? Mm-hmm. And then I would say to him, can you please tell us the color of the sole of the shoe that's in your hands presently? And then I would ask him,
define the word shoe. Do you have a dictionary? Sorry.
It's okay. And then now that the image is on the screen and he's identified what color the sole is, and now that he's has the shoe in his hand and he's identified what color the sole of the shoe is, I would ask him, can you explain why the color of the shoe is different? Now, regardless of how he answers, to Carrie's point about how he might try to meander his way out of answering the question, the jury, hopefully, would have a level of aptitude to be able to identify that regardless of how he answered the question, that something is amiss here. And that's exactly how I'd present it. Realistically, have the image on the screen, have him take the shoe out, have him answer questions for both, and then put that right before the jury. Because again, he doesn't have to admit it or not. He doesn't even have to explain it or not. Reasonable doubt is what we're after here. And that brings it right to the table. And like I said, if I'm the defense, that's exactly how I do it. And if they're watching, take my idea and run with it. If you think it's workable.
Right. I mean, that's kind of the way they had to do it between Jackson and Buchanan, with Proctor having a major part in the investigation. Buchanan wouldn't even admit to that. And I wasn't sure how I felt with how far Jackson took it, because I was worried that maybe he would lose the jury's interest just a little bit. But I will give Jackson this: that motherfucker will prove a point.
Yeah.
You don't want to say they're flirty? Let's read an hour-long worth of text. Now will you say that they're flirty? I mean, that's why he did that.
Right. Or, okay, read this report, read this application for a search warrant. Whose name is on it? Whose name is on it? Whose name is on it? And
Mazza, when you were talking about doing that with the shoe, like putting the photo, putting the shoe, it reminded me of in the first trial, and it may come up again in this trial, that hair, the picture of that hair that was on the bumper. Do you remember that it was like hair gate, where it's like, it looks like it's this way, and it was different. It looked different in different photos. So
that's some resilient hair going through that.
Right. 70 miles.
Get that hair a freaking Olympic gold medal.
It's like the little piece of liquid metal that stayed on the car. T2.
Terminator 2. Yeah. Very risky moment trying to get that thing off the back of the vehicle and toss it, but it was brilliant. So no, but definitely. But someone made a good point that the reason why the shoes were replaced is more than likely because the dog chewed it up. And I'd asked the question after I'd asked Yuri, hey, can you explain why the colors of the shoes are different? And then I would say there's no chance. I mean, it depends on what they're able to get away with, because this is where you get in objection territory, and then the judge actually doesn't allow them to ask the question. But, like I said, I just think so much is just having them identify the color of the sole and identifying that there is a difference is definitely establishing reasonable doubt, which is again, all you need to do. We're not here to, it's not for us to know who did it, like Alan Jackson said. It's a matter of just phase one is getting Karen acquitted of these charges. And that's, before we can ever say so-and-so needs to go to jail, the first thing justice for John O'Keefe has been on hold for over 3 years now because of this witch trial against Karen Reed, who's done absolutely nothing. And sometimes the trolls will try to tell you, well, she probably hit him by accident and didn't realize it. I would beg to differ, because someone just posted a video on TikTok yesterday where they reenacted how much damage would be done to a taillight. And I shared that last night, and they found out that probably no more than 4 broken pieces of taillight would occur. Now, when they did the test, they actually were driving forward. And then they realized that if John O'Keefe had been hit, that his elbow probably would have been broken, his wrist would have been broken, there would have been more damage to his arm, not just cuts. It would have been an absolute break of at least 2 or 3 parts of his bones between his hand and his elbow, and maybe a puncture here and there. But there'd be no more than 4 pieces of taillight, not 47 pieces of taillight or whatever they're claiming. It's outrageous all over the place. And like I said, the first jury didn't even buy it. I mean, charges 1 and 3 shouldn't even be back in this trial at all. It should be simply a count 2 trial at best right now. But this is it's an absolute farce. So why wouldn't it be like this, right?
Right. And one thing that's always gotten to me that I if no one does this, I will, because I have access to a 4Runner that has the exact same engine as Karen Reed's Lexus, but I just want to hear one of those vehicles going in reverse at 24-ish miles an hour. Just hearing that happen, much less colliding with something, would have made so much noise. And if people were staring at out the window, watching for these people, waiting for them to come inside, then they would have heard this. I mean, so I'd like to see maybe some footage of that happening, or maybe somebody behind a window with a camera, filming it with audio, so you can hear just how loud it is and how somebody certainly would have noticed.
Well, didn't Aiden try that? Like, didn't he try at 34 Fairview? I don't know. Was it with a?
He did. Him and
Lexus,
Richie.
He couldn't even get it up to 24 miles an hour, I don't think.
Correct. Him and Richie reenacted it in the summer of 2023, I believe it was. And they found out that the curb rounds, and they actually kept riding up on the grass every single time they attempted to do that. And again, to your point, Carrie, he couldn't get the mileage up to whatever, I think it was 24 miles an hour. I think they got it up to 20, 21. I actually attempted it in my SUV in the fall of 2023 in an abandoned parking lot. And I got up to about 20. I actually got 224, but it took me about 70 yards or more, or whatever it was to actually get to that level, and it just was. I actually just ended up tapping a brake because it just didn't seem reasonable. The distance she would have needed to get to 24 would have been a lot more than just moving from the edge of the property back to, it just wouldn't have made much sense that she would have got that kind of mileage out of it at all in that short of a distance. So that someone said Aiden got the 19 miles per hour, which sounds about right.
Yeah. Altman commented a moment ago that Aiden had a little bit smaller of a Lexus, so that also, I don't know if that affected anything, but
that just means he would have picked up speed faster, I would think.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah,
sure. And reverse is only one gear, so it's extremely difficult to be able to hit that speed in such a short distance as well. Like 60 something feet would have been nearly impossible. And it's actually a shorter gear than first gear too, which would just mean that, accelerating that quickly would be extremely difficult. I mean, you'd have
there's something about her pedal. She wasn't even gunning it all the way down. He was talking about the percentage that it was like with the 75%.
Yeah.
Acceleration, like with her foot on the pedal. So it sounds so absurd. We're talking about it and it sounds so absurd. So much of this case just sounds absurd. Like the new theory of after this going 24 miles an hour in reverse, that now they're saying the new theory is that they struck John on the arm and somehow he was able to read Jen McCabe's text, turn off the phone, do a couple things with the phone, and then what? Fall to the ground. Okay, but fall to the ground fall from a standing position with such force to crack your skull open. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's so absurd. And I would love to see, like, in the closing argument, sort of like an if-then guide to reasonable doubt. Mm-hmm. If these injuries are inconsistent with what you expect for someone to be struck by a vehicle, then that's reasonable doubt. If you are having a hard time imagining a Lexus going 24 miles an hour in reverse, then that's reasonable doubt. If you cannot comprehend a man getting struck by a vehicle and reading some text and falling to the ground and cracking his head open, then that's reasonable doubt. Like, it's just so absurd. And there are witnesses that will testify and give them reason to assign that doubt to, but they don't really need that because it's common sense. It just sounds crazy.
It does. And Joe, I don't claim to be a car expert. I could talk for weeks on end about music, but I don't claim to know anything about cars. I just did a lot of Googling.
I don't know anything about cars either.
You don't own a 10-second car?
I don't know anything about shoes.
No, it just,
you know what I'm saying?
Seems impossible. Yeah.
You don't drive a Nissan Skyline like Ryan O'Connor and Fast and Furious?
You just need common sense. I like your pun though.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and bring on the stage one more human, and then I'll make sure everybody has been introduced and knows each other. So you may know Jason from Twitter as not Haley Walbrecht, but I know him as Jason. He's an amazing human, a great advocate, excellent reporter, and you may know him also because he may have called you a moron on Twitter. But if that's the case, you probably are. So
go on. I don't want to interrupt that. That was amazing.
Oh,
Thank you so much. Hey, everybody. I think I've met everybody, but maybe Carrie. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, nice to meet you. I haven't met anyone. I'm so excited. I was like, Britt invited me to sit at the cool kids table. It's lovely to meet you all.
Carrie, you are a wonderful legal mind. I love picking your brain. You were great the last time you came on this channel, so why the heck not? And it's Mother's Day, and so I needed to get some moms representing in here too. Jen Altman's on her way too. So Jason, tell us what you've been working on and what you've been doing, or at least what you're ready to discuss.
Well, I definitely have been in my off Twitter real life busy season, so I've been bouncing around a lot. I've been really trying to focus my coverage on kind of, there's a lot of Karen Reed coverage. I'm always happy to go on channels and give my opinion. I've really been focusing on Aiden's case quite a bit in terms of covering that and kind of the peripheral. Lindsay Gaetani has her arraignment coming up on May 28th. So I definitely be there covering that in person. And Aiden's trial, his first trial for the violation of the restraining order, is coming up on June 8th or June 9th. So we're kind of full steam ahead getting into those stories. So that's what my focus has been on, in addition to kind of my everyday battling of the trolls. That's what.
They never stop, do they?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. They never ever stop. It's true.
No. I started trying to have logical discussions, and then I started ignoring them, and now I've just started having fun. Like, Jason, I think you actually saw one today where I announced this show and someone said, make sure you're prepared, and, added a video of somebody putting on clown makeup. So I just posted an old picture from me being on Bourbon Street on Halloween, dressed as a clown. So I said, I'm ready to go.
That's exactly the way to do it. I have always, they can come, they're going to say horrible things about you and come at you. And the best way is just to smile and laugh and agree with them while you give it right back to them, because they're not going to say anything to me that my lifelong friends and I don't say to each other every single day. You know what I mean? It's so much worse. If you ever came to work with me in the pro audio and event production business, what we say to each other on a daily basis is so much worse that literally when the trolls come at me, I almost feel more comfortable than I do if they weren't coming after me, because that's how guys operate, with your friends. You say worse things about your friends to each other than anyone else could ever say about you anyway.
Very, very true.
Yeah, I'll post like a quote or something that happened in the trial, a quote from testimony, and the comebacks are like, "You're ugly." Like that.
Yeah,
okay.
they always resort to something like personal, and they're always trying to like find out personal things about you, and when that happens, it's like, okay, all it does is just validate my opinion that much more to me. I'm like, okay, well, they have no argument against what I'm like. I'm looking for someone, because this whole time there's always been a part of me that thought I might be crazy, this whole time. So ironically, when I get into it with somebody online about this case, I'm kind of hoping that they'll educate me on something, and so that I don't feel crazy. And then sure enough, they don't. They just take these ridiculously juvenile jabs, and then you're just like, okay. And then, all right, well, I could be more of a 10-year-old than you. So
right.
That's kind of my MO. There's no way they're going to be better at it than I am. So if that's where you want to, that's where you want to bring the discourse, I'm with you. I love it.
Sure. Totally.
I love blocking them all. I have a nice collection list of all the trolls I've blocked online. I'm always loving to add to it. It's amazing. I enjoy it. You get blocked, and you get blocked, and you get blocked too. Hell yeah.
I go through phases. Sometimes I do that for a little while, and then sometimes after I've blocked them, I'm going to admit it, sometimes I miss some of the people that I blocked. So I have to go and unblock them. I have a rule. I generally will never talk about somebody that I have blocked, because I just find it cowardly. So sometimes I'll miss talking about somebody. I'm like, I got to unblock that person so I can go and insult them a few more times, just for my own amusement.
Yeah, it's extremely cowardly. Coffindoffer loves to do that. She loves to block and talk about you. So does what's her face? The Peggy Bundy.
Julie
Crawford. Yeah. She's one of the.
She loves to do that.
Yeah, she has a lot to say about everybody. Coffindoffer, she's always hurling insults left and right. It's like, would you just sit there? I mean, it's amazing she hasn't gotten a trespassing charge for the way she marched onto 34 Fairview like she was an invited guest, and then ran away like Skeletor. Until next time.
I love that. Such a
dude. When that
And-
happened and you made that meme, dude,
Yeah.
I lost it, bro. I laughed so hard, dude. I was like, that's why I love Mazza right there.
Oh my god, she just
I had-
runs away. It's like, what the hell?
I had an account prior to not Haley Walbrecht or Haley Walbrecht existing. I had an account, and she blocked me on the account, and then I made some comment. I made a crude comment on the account saying something like, "I don't even know why she blocked me. I just thought she had a nice rack." Like I just said it just like that, and she unblocked me the same day. She
Oh
unblocked
my
me because I
God.
complimented her.
Julie
It was the
Card?
best- Yeah, it was the best thing that ever happened.
Why am I not surprised?
Right.
That's the weirdest thing in the world. I'm not even like the slightest bit shocked by that.
Yeah.
It's
No,
really
I was like, score.
One of these days, I have
This
a
all
plan.
ends with Jason and Julie. You know, all is well. Everything's fine between them, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that
No.
coming.
Julie
Although I'm not
has me
really good at-
blocked. Wendy Murphy has me blocked. I plan to
Yeah.
print screenshots of every block and then just frame them and have this whole streaming area lined, completely decked out with,
That's a great
Wendy
idea.
Murphy has blocked you, Julie Carpenter has blocked you.
I could do my
Yeah,
whole. I could do my
I
whole
think they've
house,
all
just so
blocked
you
me.
know.
Yeah,
Right,
I
right.
think everybody that we've named has blocked me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, even Matt Valentinas, the guy who was working with M. William Phelps. I've
You
never
haven't named a
mentioned
person
him.
I'm not blocked by yet. Yeah.
Yeah, he blocked me
Not
too.
to
Yeah. Hey.
Well, I don't get it. Most of these people I've never interacted with. I've never talked about them.
I might have called him Matt Vaginitis a couple times, but it wasn't. It wasn't very many.
Thank you, Mama She 13. Whatever isn't swallowed by YouTube, I will forward to Karen Reed's defense fund when this is all over. So, and guys, just so everyone is aware, the reason we're all here today is to raise money for Karen's defense. Even though she is not paying for her attorneys right now, she still has a civil case moving forward, and she still has to pay for each and every expert. Yeah, and to live. Remember, she does not have an income right now. She cannot drive herself around right now. She's had to sell her home. She has had to get rid of her use up her retirement fund. So this is to help her. So if you guys are feeling generous today, please follow the link that is pinned at the top of the chat, and that will take you straight to it, where you can either anonymously or very loudly make a donation. So, and how are we doing right now?
For the Crash Daddies. This will help
in,
you for the
like-
Crash Daddies. That's what we
It will.
because they are now officially a defense, expert. So
And how do we know how do we know who donated because of this stream? Do you type in Brit Happens?
Yeah, just say Brit Happens fundraiser or something in
Okay.
your comment. If you please and thank you. Just say that in there. We really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, this community is amazing, dude. Like I've done 3 of these, and they're every single time, man. The community really comes together. It's like it's mind blowing every single time to see everyone just believe in something so strongly and put forth just even a little bit,
Right.
I mean, because that little bit is something to those people. You know what I mean? Like no matter what that amount, that's a big deal to them, for them to take the time and think of Karen and what she's going through and donate is it's a hell of a thing. So we're all up here very, very grateful to you guys for that.
Yeah,
100%.
and I
And
think
Karen is too. Oh, go ahead,
Yeah.
Jason.
it's okay. I think we take it for granted. Like people don't realize how amazing this is. The comment on the screen right now, her defense fund may hit $1 million today, and the majority of that $1 million has been raised in $25 donations and $50 donations from regular people all across the country, across the world. Really, it's an amazing. It really is. We've never seen anything like this, and to see this happen, it really is a testament to how obviously flawed this investigation was, and this rush to judgment to blame Karen and to pin this on her. I can't talk to a person. I can't talk to a police officer or a regular person. Everywhere I go, people stop me and who do you think did it? You know what I mean? And we have, and I don't say, I don't know. It was never my job to find out who did it. You know, that job belonged to the state police.
And they failed.
But it really is, it's an amazing testament to an entire movement that's been created just against this injustice that we see happening in Norfolk County, and not even just in Karen's case. We see it over and over again.
Mm-hmm. And Will, I wanted to mention, if I may, something that happened on one of your more recent fundraisers. It was the night before opening arguments, and Karen popped in, and she was bringing up specific small donations that she remembers, including one man who donates $1 and change every 2 weeks. I mean, that meant just as much to her as the hundreds or thousands of dollars that some people donate all at once. So
it's true.
You know, yeah, and she reads every comment that you put in there.
Yeah,
it's how we channel our outrage. It's like, what do you like? This is so outrageous. Like, and you feel helpless. Like, what can you do? And this is something you feel like at least there's something you can do.
Mm-hmm.
It's true, and I think it's as much about the message as it is about the money. I mean, that's what this. You know, can you imagine prior to this getting all of this attention? She was there. She was mainly by herself. Nobody knew about this story before Aiden started writing about it. You have all of these people, and she probably just sat there every day thinking about, these people hate me. No one's going to believe me. All of this is going to happen. And what this has done just for her morale to see this huge movement rise up behind her. I think that it's more than just the money. So even a symbolic donation helps, because it helps send the message that you believe.
Yes.
You know, that you believe in her.
When I was in Massachusetts, I spent a lot of hours in the buffer zone. And that, I think, probably is what changed my perspective the most on Karen's headspace and, you know, how everybody feels here too. That was watching Karen drive by with her window down. I got emotional because
it's a hell of a sight. It is a hell of a sight, most definitely. Like, it's one thing to see it like on Resistant to Silence or Tom streams, you know, it's one thing to see it there, but it's a whole nother thing to like be there and meet everyone and talk to everyone and see Karen interact, because you can only hear so much with the footage, but Karen is saying hello to everyone. She is smiling. She remembers everyone's name who she's talked to before. She is genuinely the epitome of grateful, you know, for everything that's happening, considering everything she's going through. And her attorneys as well, her team are the same way. They're just as grateful.
She's so tired. I just have to say, like, I've seen the smiles that go in the headlines and are on all the YouTube thumbnails. I've seen all that. But that first day that I was there, it was windy, it was raining, it was forecasted, at least when I was packing, to be, you know, in the 70s the whole time I'd be up there, but it was like 50 degrees and the rain was coming down sideways. And she had her window down and she was saying hello to everybody just the same. But, you know, I could also see just how exhausted she is as well, and how daunting of an undertaking all this is for, you know, for
and with
her
health conditions too.
I mean, no kidding. To have have multiple autoimmune disorders, and I know all about that, but to have multiple autoimmune disorders and being stretched out very thin like that day after day. I mean, she depends on the people who show up before 7 o'clock every morning, who gather together. They pray for her on the courthouse steps. They recite the Pledge of Allegiance. They almost in their own way are creating as much good energy for her as they can before, being herded like cattle to to the buffer zone where they can show support for her. But, seeing the dedication of those people and how much of a difference that makes for Karen every single day when she drives up, that was something that I think everybody needs to know about. And that means just as much to her as the donations that are coming in. I can guarantee that.
Britt, I got great news. I got great news for you, Britt. You've hit your bronze goal. $500 we've crossed. We're at $544.
Wow.
Silver's the next goal of 1,000.
Wow.
Excellent.
All right. In less than an hour.
Yep.
You know, about those people on the ground, I think that people don't understand that there's this whole ecosystem that happens. Like, they don't see when Erica goes and pre-orders the lunch for these people. She'll walk down the street to the restaurant. All of these people fill in roles. Like, they actually, these are volunteers. They're not paid. They just show up every single day. They're out there, and people don't understand how much Karen's team has ended up by relying on this kind of volunteer support and people that they can count on. It's an amazing testament to those people that are out there.
Totally. I have to comment on that because I've made it a point to stand out there with them, and the fact, like, when you think of people like Scott McGinnis, who's out there literally, like, I mean, even further back before I started following this, but ever since I've never seen him, maybe one day because he had like a doctor's appointment or something, but he has consistently been at every Karen Reed hearing, every Turtle Boy hearing.
Yes.
I mean, and anything else, Canton 9 hearings, everything. And to have that kind of dedication and stand out there, doesn't matter what the weather's like, it's like, I think about that, and sometimes I'm like, man, how dare I complain about it raining at my house?
It's true.
When I think about Scott McGinnis and so many others like Dina out there just all the time, just to send the message that we are here and we're not going anywhere. That's the entire principal point behind their action of consistently being out there and putting themselves through that.
100%.
Is just to say we are here and not going anywhere no matter what happens.
It's true.
I got to know Scott and Dina a whole lot better. I interacted with them online a little bit, but getting to know them last week in person was so special to me. Dina, first of all, is hilarious.
She's funny.
I could not be within 20 feet of her without cackling, like almost.
She's so
constantly. Great. She is. She's such a sweetheart, and Scott, he's such a deep thinker. He is such a driven person. One of the first things he asked me face to face was, "Hey, will you sign my sign?" And then he turns it around and he said, "I don't know how much longer this one will last because of how much the stake for it. He's got it on like a 2x4." And he said the wood has just swollen and expanded and contracted so much that it's starting to split. So I don't know how long it'll be there, but
do you know how many rainy days, snowy days, hot days that thing has been through? That American flag is, I never even had to think about that before, but I gotta say, I never thought I'd have a favorite American flag. That Scott McGinnis's American flag is my favorite American flag of all time. Easily. I never even thought I'd ever have one.
Whether
but I do now.
Battle scarred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Badass.
It's right up there with
That's
the,
the one.
it's like a Sands of Iwo Jima flag at this point,
That's true. Yeah.
It's like it's battle
Yeah.
tested, you know.
And
Jeez.
you know what? The names go on and on, right? You know my Britt, you know, I had my friend Timma looking out for you while you were up there, Tim McGrath, and
Yes,
the
he was a
Sweeneys,
sweetheart.
and there's just so many of these people that they're there. Jack is there every day. You have all of these people, and they know they can be there, and they know that not all of us can, so they go and do what they feel is like their duty every day. It is a lot like the Sands of Iwo Jima in the way that there is this thing that happens with them where they just show up. They just show up, and they're there every single day.
Do you know how deep the goodness goes in this movement?
Yeah.
Like think about it in these terms, right? Like this is so, like, imagine if this were happening to Karen Reed or anybody for that matter, and people were just like, well, what am I supposed to do about it? I don't know, whatever. Best of luck to you, right? She'd be screwed. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that there's thousands of people, literally thousands of people who are just like, no, this is not okay. What's happening? I'm not blind and I'm not stupid. And they're doing this, and they're basically saying F you to my face by doing this to somebody. You know, they're telling me that my rights are in danger. So, and just everyone who's doing it strictly for Karen Reed's rights alone.
Yes.
You know, you think about that, and just that sense of goodness that is involved tells me that the world's still okay.
Yeah, it's mind blowing. These people feel, people feel compelled, and I know because I feel the same way, right? I feel compelled. What are all of us doing when we make these visits out to the buffer zone? When we go out and talk to people, it's not convenient for me to drive. You know, some of you have to fly in, right? It's not convenient for me to drive 2 hours to go to Dedham for a court hearing. It's not convenient for me to do that. It just is. There's just no question when I have availability that's what I'm going to do, because it just is the right thing to do. And something about this case and something about this movement has drawn people in a way that they're getting personally involved in a situation where cases like this, maybe not like this, but murder cases where there might be some kind of injustice involved in it, they happen every day. It doesn't often result in what we see here. This is different. There's something special about this.
There is. It's restored my faith in humanity to see, you know, the just how steadfast everybody has been. And these aren't people who are retired and have nothing else to do with their day. Most of these people have lives to go to after they stand at the buffer zone for a couple hours. They take their kids to school. They go to work. Most of them have things to do as well. So they're not just eating up their free time to be standing out there and to be sharing the information. They're making more time for themselves to do this.
Yeah, pretty amazing. You had a comment, one of the starred comments that was up earlier where they were asking, we didn't address it, but I always, when I see stuff like this, I want to say something. Project Crime 30, has anyone seen the info about Chris Albert's previous arrests from the 1990s and early 2000s?
Let me pull that back up for you.
There's some stuff going around where there's someone with the same name. So where there's some child
Different
porn
age.
charges and things like that. That's not... This happens all
Not
the
the same.
time, so
Yeah,
I always
I
want
would
to make
imagine. I would imagine Chris Albert's not that rare of a name. I would imagine.
Right.
There's, you know what I mean?
we had there was one of the, I'm not gonna name his name, but one of the people on our side that was kind of tormented by he did a good job of tormenting trolls, and when he was exposed, they went back after him. And I was talking to him about, like, oh, is this hard where you're from or whatever else? And there are 8 people including him, who live in Canton, who have the exact same name. So when you get any of these, especially out there, any Irish names, there is so much duplication. It's almost impossible to ruin someone's reputation because they all have the same name. So it's,
I
but
think it's important for us to have facts and not be out there with these. You know, I saw some things, and people on on Karen's side, you know, say some crazy things sometimes, and it's just like I cringe a little bit. Like thank you, Jason, for pointing that out to that person, because I want us to have the facts.
Here's the thing that I would
type a 1 in the chat if you know a guy named Brian Sullivan.
There you go. I think it's important.
You're local and you know a guy named Brian Sullivan, type a 1 in the chat.
I think it's important to point out that you have this scenario. We've been doing this for 2 years, and some of us have done very, very extensive deep dives on all of the participants and all of these people, including Karen's defense team and their investigators and everything else. If you're just coming into the fold and you're excited about this case, you want to do your research, I appreciate that. If you come up with something that seems super scandalous, that wasn't too hard for you to find, you can be rest assured that we've probably already looked at it and ruled that out. So instead of posting it as if like, oh, I just found this thing out about Chris Albert, maybe you could, I like the way the commenter did it here, is they asked a question. Hey, has anyone seen this
he does have an arrest from the 90s. He did serve time for killing a man. That criminal
that's real
charge is true.
Yeah, there's plenty that's already true that we could focus on. And the cool thing is like, my favorite thing about this community is that when I first started following this case, I basically just had the community to help me with it. I didn't know anything about it. I just decided to hit go live, and then I was like, I got this spreadsheet from Sleuthy Goosey. Let's see. I'm going to explore it. That's what I did, and the chat was like, for some reason, entertained by this, and then I know as much as I know, like 80% of what I know about this case, I've learned through sharing information with the community, right?
Right.
And that's amazing, right? So now that this second trial is garnering more and more attention, because each witness that takes the stand is going to bring more attention to this case. People are going to be like, are you watching this at their water coolers at work? You know what I mean? Like, did anybody see this? So that's going to happen a lot, and it would be super, super beneficial, because I realize it's going to get kind of frustrating because you get newbies that are going to be like, oh, I heard this, this, and this, and you're like, you don't know what you're talking about. You haven't been around. We've been around. But if we just, welcome, because this is what we want. This is what we've been working for, is to get this kind of attention on this case. We want the world talking about this. We want thousands and thousands more people, if not millions, to say, no, what's happening in Norfolk County is not okay, and we as Americans are not going to stand for it.
No.
So we have to be, as welcoming to these new people as we can, and be nice. And I'm just thinking out loud, because I have to remind myself to do that, because I could be very rude. But
Yeah, no, I think you're right on the money there, and that's why I'm saying I like how Crotchet Crime 30, who posted that, says, has anyone seen the info? They're asking a question, which I like. I think people should come in, and I think they should ask questions. At the same time, I know you get excited if you see a piece of information, but do your due diligence or ask others, and by all means be curious, but don't come out and make these pronouncements that I've cracked the case, I found this big thing, and this is what's happening, because it ends up by becoming a distraction. So, hey, has anyone seen this? That's great. Yeah, as a matter of fact, we looked into that, and that's not the same Chris Albert. I love that. I think that's how it should go.
Yeah, we don't want to be.
That's triple than the last time Mazza mentioned.
Yeah,
that's the goal.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of large donations are coming in. 250, 350, amazing. 200. Then there's just been a whole wave of $20 and beyond donations. We're actually at a total of
awesome. Let's see if we can hit 2 by 9 o'clock. Then
we just got our 25th donation.
Yeah, if anybody was saving up to buy me a birthday present next November, I'm totally authorizing you to take that money now and donate to Karen Reed's Defense Fund, and make sure you tag Britt Happens. So.
Right.
Oh, funny. Hey,
Britt, can
John,
I
so thanks for watching. Sorry, go ahead, Carrie.
Can I share a story that I stumbled on from my neck of the woods here in the South that like the crime is not similar to Karen, but the powerful family connection with police is very similar. And so I live in Charleston, South Carolina, and a town North Myrtle Beach. There is a story happening where the crime happened a couple years ago, and it was essentially a road rage shooting. But the shooter is a wealthy business owner in the community, powerful family connections to law enforcement. And the what's interesting about this is when he ended up shooting and killing a man in what he said was a road rage incident, he is in the midst of a custody battle with his pregnant ex-fiance, right? And he had set up some kind of recording device on his phone. So it was recording nonstop. So you got to hear the corruption happening on his phone. This all came out in a civil lawsuit by the victim's family because, of course, there was no investigation. It was a whole look the other way situation. But you hear him as soon as the shooting happens, you hear him call the deputy chief of the town and say, I need help. And you hear the deputy chief say, I got the right people. I got the people coming that need to come. You're taken care of. Like that, we see a lot, like the connection with like, how did Proctor get put on this case? Or, just the police connections, you actually hear it. I've got the right people coming. You're good. We're taking care of this. When he sends the right detective to the scene, the detective has a yellow notepad and he's wearing a body cam. And stupidly, in front of the body cam, he puts his notebook down and he writes, "Act like a victim, camera." And he walks over to the guy and holds it up. Act like a victim, like you're on camera. And you hear the one of the paramedics on scene is looking at the victim and he says to the cop, he's shot in the back. Like, I don't think this is self-defense. Yeah, like, bro. Don't you say that the wealthy shooter guy, like, shouldn't he be at fault? The cop, the special cop that was sent to the scene says, nope.
Wow.
Nope. And so, there's absolutely no investigation. They just shut it down. They immediately are like, self-defense. We've got a stand your ground law here in the South. This is a whole like good old boy network where bullshit. The powerful family has the connections to the police, and they were about to give this guy an award. Like law enforcement were about to give, before the victim's family filed the civil lawsuit and started getting all this video. They were about to give him like a hero award. Like, you saved the community from this crazy road raging guy. But conveniently, like a lot of these cops are had to resign, got fired, internal investigation. And of course, they, just this past week, the new deputy chief is like, we just found some new video, like some new body cam. Like, I'm like, was it in Proctor's drawer? Like, it's just this little example of like really how this stuff can happen. This just so happened to be caught on body cam and the guy's recording, trying to catch his baby mama saying something so he would get custody. Like, it just so happened to all get caught. Like, I feel like people think that you're crazy for thinking that, something shady is going on with the law enforcement there in Norfolk County. It happened. It happens. And that's another, it can happen. And I just thought that story that's happening right now in South Carolina just shows how that can happen. Act like a victim. He wrote that on a piece of paper. It's just, wow.
If those cops are looking for jobs, if they're getting booted,
right? They'll probably
pretty sure they can go work at the Mass State Police Detachment in Norfolk
That's
County.
That's right.
You look at those, and a lot of people don't know Michael Proctor in the Just On Route case. Michael Proctor told Just On's stepmother the day that he was shot to death while he was surrounded by cops while laying on the ground and had 31 bullets fired into his lifeless body. Michael Proctor told the stepmother that that Justin had shot a valet in the head in Boston, and Justin never had a firearm. He had a like a clear paintball gun, and he was shot. The valet was shot by the police firing wildly at him without regard for the civilians that were in the background. And that was the first scene. When he fled and made it to the second scene, it was in the parking lot of a supermarket. And they found bullets all the way across the parking lot at the entrance to the supermarket, where there was civilians walking by the entire time that this stuff was happening. So, but for Proctor, this familiar name came and said to the mother, your son and your stepson shot this valet in the head in Boston. They knew it was a police bullet, and they tried to lie right off the bat.
That's what happened. In this case, they told that it's the victim's sister is the one that really, she was a teacher. She quit her job to like try to unearth what happened, because the cops told her, oh, your brother started this. And she's like, I just know that's not true. I just know it's not true. And she just started digging, and she filed a civil lawsuit, started getting all the files, and it's just been she is the one that brought it out. But I have to one more thing on this that's just outrageous. So the victim was killed in his vehicle, and so he slumped over the steering wheel, his body, and the police, we think solo cups and leaf blowers are bad. They towed the car to the police impound lot with the body in the vehicle.
Wow.
In South Carolina heat, he sat in the impound lot in a tow truck for 6 hours till the coroner could come.
This is in South Carolina, right? We've got someone asking.
Yes.
Yeah, what's the name of the case? I want to look that up too. I want to read some more about it.
The victim's name is Scott Spivey, Spivey. You follow me on Twitter, I shared a Wall Street Journal article. There's a 2-part series. Like I got a subscription to it just so I could read it, and so I was able to like gift it. So you should be able to click on it and read the 2-part series.
I don't want to talk about it much, but I'm currently working on a story in South Carolina, and there is, I've been in touch with several journalists down there, so I'm excited to ask them about this case and what their thoughts are. So I'm going to look into that a little bit more. And not that I'll say it's related, but I did get a text from Christy Citrone asking me which one of the pesky ladies hate you, and I was able to reply, all of them. So,
all right, let's see some of the new donations.
It's true, man. They really hate you, dude. It's funny.
They really hate me.
They really hate you. I'm
good with it. It's kind of like my North Star. It's how I know I'm on the right track.
Well, right. Yeah, definitely. There's certain people that I know hate me that I'm just like, okay, I know I'm good.
But I've actually. Sorry, Brett, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, like, women, they have a certain drive when it comes to, being mad or disliking somebody that I don't think men have the same energy for. Sometimes it's pretty...
Not real men. Not real men.
But I like that I've actually kind of gathered this group of people. A lot of the people that hate me also hate each other. So like I've kind of come full circle in that, like, I have people that were enemies that have made up over hating me. Like I'm really kind of a unifier in that way.
Dude, I've been on this planet for almost half a century, dude. And like the worst people, like all you got to do is just wait for them to fight amongst themselves. Cause they will, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they will. Like, so it's actually like quite easy to just watch it happen,
Yeah. They started to, some of the antis have started to with this with that kind of bodybuilder guy who ran for
conflict.
Fathead Tony, is that who you're talking about?
They need conflict. Maybe. They got to have somebody to have a war with. You know what I mean? That's the type of people you're dealing with. And so when you get a bunch of them, they're just going to fight with each other at some point,
They will. Oh, hey, speak of the devil. Man, people keep just popping up at just the right time. Everybody
The
say
Rude one?
hello to the sister
Oh,
of
Jen
Just
Root.
on Root. Jen
Jen
Root's
Root.
here.
Hey, Jen.
Hi,
Jen.
everyone.
Hi.
What's
How
up,
you
Jen
doing?
Root?
Very good.
Hello, my friend.
It's practically
Well,
my
happy
sister
Mother's
right
Day.
there. Yeah.
I know, Jason. I haven't seen you in a while.
I know. I was just thinking about it the other day. I'm like, I got to reach out to Jen. I feel incomplete at the moment.
We gotta do some music together.
That's right.
So
Yeah,
Jen,
there may be
happy Mother's
videos
Day.
floating. There may be videos floating around somewhere of me playing the piano and Jen singing. I'm not sure.
Yep, I think there's some out there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, I'm happy that you're having this panel because it's just so important that we keep raising money for Karen, and because it's gonna take all of us, and it's gonna take a lot of money.
Yes,
And also,
it is.
yeah, also, the more eyes we get on this case, it's the more eyes we get on the Sandra Birchmore and Justin Root cases as well,
Yep.
as well as Enrique Delgado Garcia. So, I mean, right now, what we want is people to be like, what is going on in Norfolk County? What is going on there?
Yeah, what
and it's
is
happening.
going on there?
Right.
Jen, you had a tweet the other day. I just brought up. I don't know if you were listening, but I just brought up Michael Proctor telling your stepmother that Justin shot the valet. But you had a tweet the other day about Yuri Buchanan as well. Do you want to fill people in on Yuri
Oh
Buchanan's
yeah,
role
I
there?
mean, so obviously watching the trial for me feels so extremely like personal in the sense of seeing some of the same exact people that lied to my family and did a pathetic bare bone investigation. The fact that they did a better investigation for rubber duckies is just deplorable, egregious, unbelievable. So Yuri Buchanan, he the day after Justin's shooting, apparently the Boston police officer who had shot Justin in Boston and also shot his clear plastic paintball gun in half that had a chimney. That particular officer didn't have his body-worn he had his body-worn camera on and he lied about it. And he also didn't have his department issued firearm. They purported that it was someone else's. Okay, so this particular officer was closest to Justin in Brookline. Okay. And when I say, like, look at me, I'm like, I always have my pictures. Okay. Justin on the ground. And then this is the officer right here from Boston. All 8 of his bullets that he shot in Brookline all went into that shallow bush. And imagine there must have been 60, 70 police. I mean, I thought it was like the marathon bombing there, like the amount of people that came.
Yeah.
The idea that not any of those officers with all the line searches that they couldn't find those 8 bullets. But Yuri the next morning, he found those in the bush. All 8 of them from that officer. And we have no pictures. No pictures because, it was DiCiccio who said that they took, pictures, but of course you can't get any of those, right? And I've tried.
Do you think he went and just fired that gun 8 more times?
Now I know even
I have
more.
a lot of ideas about. I have a lot of ideas about that guy's gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't prove anything, and then obviously when you're in the middle of like a civil lawsuit, that's not something that the attorneys. I was interested in everything, right? Because I want to know everything. Lawyers know which avenues that they can work in the legal system. So, they loved me and hated me at the same time because I was OCD and I brought a lot of things to their attention. But yeah, that was Yuri. Yuri also interviewed, I think, about 7 Brookline police officers, which I happen to think that maybe some of them were actually there. But he interviewed them at the Brookline police station, didn't record them. His statements are bare bone, right? Where he signs it. And I'm like, okay, you signed it. How do we even know that that's really like anything of what they said? And they have recording cut. Yeah.
I didn't think that I could become more sure that it's a different shoe until right now. Now I'm even more sure that it's a different shoe. I'm just fucking around. But seriously, like Yuri his hands are in everything. His hands are in everything.
Yes.
But they
Yeah.
all work together. I mean, Fanning and Yuri are close. I mean, I think that they're
Oh
close.
my god, dude.
It really is. They're like a even worse version of the Chicago PD, right? You can watch Chicago PD and you can kind of cheer for them because you can see on some level, yes, they do some things that are wrong, but ultimately they're the good guys or whatever. That's Hank Tully feels like he's on Chicago. I call him Hank Tully. It's that Brian Tully feels like he's Hank from Chicago PD, but that whole unit, it just seems like they exist almost solely to just cover for police officers. It's really bizarre when you start to look at any case they have that involves a police officer as a witness or a suspect or whatever else. You can pre-predict the outcome. It's going to be all kinds of evidence is missing, all kinds of things happen that, or vice versa. The evidence just perfectly lines up if it benefits them. So it really is. It's bizarre. It's like you'd see in a movie. It's not
right. They remind me of The Crew and The Shield. You know,
The
just
Shield's
like,
a great example.
In your
Vic
face.
Mackey,
They just don't care. You know what I mean? Like they do whatever they want. They just don't care. And it's like, okay, well,
The
who's
Magnum
gonna stop us?
Yeah, like the Magnum Force and police with Dirty Harry sequel, the Magnum Force. There, they had a whole bunch of cops just going rogue all day long. And these guys are like, well, I don't want to compare them to a particular branch of a particular enemy military squad that might have taken on a few different countries in a particular war about 80 years ago, but they particularly act like that, where they're a special unit that basically goes around basically protecting the interests of the Massachusetts State Police and getting their hands. And Jen, obviously, you know all about this, and Karen Reed, same deal. Then a few other situations, same deal. These officers are coming up in a few different cases, same crew every single time. They're a cleanup crew, no different than they're a squad that go in and when they mess up big time, this particular set of officers is assigned there. And okay, the state police fired Michael Proctor. Yeah. After the fact, you mean to tell me that they didn't know what he was up to year after year after year? And then, they just decided, no, let's get rid of him. Now they got rid of him.
They were on the text message.
They got exposed. Yep. Once his name got out there, they had to part their ways with him. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah, go ahead.
That's what the defense is doing with Buchanan right now. Is they know that these other people they're not gonna get called up by the prosecution. So they're like, all right, well, we'll just put everything on him. Fuck it, we can. So that's why we're going into our third day of cross on this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like this is I've never
well, not
seen
only that,
like
but
this.
to your earlier point, Will, look at how he's testifying. He doesn't care. He went up there and he's so cocky on the stand about just like,
arrogant.
We're doing it. What are you going to do about it? Like,
right.
What are you going to do about it? That they have the guns and they have the power. And Mazza, when you were just bringing up that foreign military squad or whatever, somewhere Critical K just got really excited hearing that in the background. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, what they also have, what they have is a meatball too. I mean, that's another common denominator here is that Morrissey rubber stamps all this.
Denominator.
Yeah. I mean, think about this too with Jen Root's, with Just on Root's case, is that anytime you have a discharge of a firearm, there's some follow-up that goes into whether it was a justified discharge of a firearm. We had how many officers involved? 8. And do you know how long it took for everybody to be cleared and back on duty through this investigation spearheaded by Morrissey? What was it, Jen? Less than 30 days?
It was 30 days, but we have a email that was around February 18th that we got through public records request that kind of said, hey, we got to get your reports in, because Morrissey, he wants to make he wants to give the report to the media or, something to that effect. So, I mean, the fix was in literally day one. I mean, Fanning was right there on scene. I mean,
wow, man.
They just come in like freaking helicopters. They're ready to just put out the narrative. well, I was just going to say this to you. I mean, obviously, this happened a little bit over 5 years ago. I would have never in a million years imagined Karen Reed's case coming along. I mean, I feel like it intersected right when I lost the civil suit.
Yep.
And like exactly, it was like April 23rd or 24th last year. I wouldn't have been able to come out. I wouldn't have been able to talk. I wouldn't have been able to, and I've obviously spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, trying to fight them. All these expenses they're just astronomical. And that's why it's so important to donate to Karen. Even if you have I don't know, I was thinking today is the $11.
Yeah.
Whatever amount you can do, but hey, make it 11. It could be, our lucky number.
Right.
And that's what they try to do is they try to drown everybody.
We're 21 off from 2000.
I mean, those of you that are new to the Karen Reed case, you got to understand that this isn't just about Karen Reed, that this is those of us who've been following this for a while and people way beyond me, there's cases like Jen here who these very same people who are railroading Karen Reed have done wrong to, and there's never been justice served. The whole idea here is to finally shed light on the corruption in Norfolk County and put an end to it. So it's so important that Karen Reed's case gets the attention it does, so that justice can be served ultimately, hopefully for hopefully for Sandra Birchmore. We're on the verge of getting justice for Sandra Birchmore as well, which is fantastic. And then we have Turtle Boy's case that we still have to deal with, which is mostly a First Amendment issue that should be extremely important to everyone. So I mean, this is
there's a lot of cases help each other too,
right?
Which is why
there's
I'm
a lot of
glad
good to be done just by helping Karen. There's a lot of good to be done surrounding Karen, is what I mean. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Jen, I'm so glad that you made the signs that show all these are Norfolk County cases. We have Just En Route, we have Karen Reed, we have Sandra Birchmore.
Oh, here
and there's more. There's more.
Oh,
We're already learning about more. We see people popping up on Twitter every day with their own version, and sure, these things, we need to do our due diligence and look into these cases, because that doesn't mean that every one of them is going to be the same level of injustice or whatever else. But you remember, Jen, when we had the joint rally out in front of DA Morrissey's office, there was people that just showed up. There was people that were driving by and they saw us and they showed up and they started telling us about their case where there was injustice, and now their loved one is being granted a new trial, and you have all of these things happening. This is the tip of the iceberg. When you have cops who are this blatant and they do these things, they do this cover up in plain view, and they don't care, and they get on the stand like Buchanan and they're cocky about it. This is their standard operating procedure. We're going to find more, and it's going to be a lot.
You don't think that the people, the top brass at MSP, I mean, they have to be, this is a high profile case. They have to be watching this. And Yuri Buchanan is telling the world that, we don't give a shit about a dead cop. We're going to wait 581 days to write report, hundreds of days to write reports. It's Massachusetts State Police protocol to just hand off evidence. We don't need to know who wrote the label or booked it into evidence. We don't need to identify where fragments of a murder weapon are in a yard. We're fine with just saying in the vicinity. We don't need to interview key witnesses for all these things that are standard protocol, writing your report soon after you conduct an interview or find evidence, taking photographs of all these basic things. He is on the stand just being just waving it away like it's no big deal. And I mean, the world is laughing at how ridiculous they look. Do they not care? Do the top people not care? Like, I literally, like, I'm like, Massachusetts State Police, like, are you all okay with this? Like, Yuri Buchanan is testifying that that Proctor had integrity and honor when you all say he did not. I mean, what, like, how are they watching this and not, how are they okay with that? I can't understand.
They don't care, and they are okay with it because they're trying to fly. What they're trying to do is fly under the radar. That there's this. They're painting. Basically, it's gaslighting. They're flying around with this illusion that, you know, until they get caught. Like, think about Michael Proctor for a second. Michael Proctor would still have a job today if those text messages about Karen Reed never got out. There would be. I mean, think about it. He would still have a job right now if it wasn't for those text messages. He's only out of there. All the corruption he's done or whatever he's had his hand in wouldn't have been enough to think about that. Everything that he's done, which is a million times worse than those text messages, as hard as that is to say, he would still have a job right now if it wasn't for those text, because something got out there. That's why someone like Yuri or whomever, they sit there with that deadpan level of confidence that they know nothing's going to happen to them, because nothing's going to happen to them unless they mess up, and then it ends up getting publicly exposed. Then when it gets publicly exposed, then they got to do their cleanup. And then they're going to go ahead and toss them out. Okay, well, we gotta part ways with Proctor. But these guys do have that level of confidence that they can do anything they want, when they want, how they want, because I've said, they're basically a cleanup squad for the state police, and they're going to sit there and gaslight us all and try to just like the Commonwealth's doing, just like the prosecution's doing. They get up there regardless of the facts. All the stuff that's said day in and day out in court, no matter what conspiracy, what a cover-up theory, frame theory that we all have, they get up there and the judge, the prosecution, Karen Reed did it. And if there's a mistrial in the first trial, and even if they find out that you got members of the jury that are coming out saying it was not guilty, they still carry on like nothing happened, nothing to see here. And it's this ultimate gaslighting, shadow way of conducting themselves, that they just try to blow smoke up everybody's ass, if I may swear on this show.
It's surreal. It's surreal. You know what it is? It's the meme. It's the meme where the house is burning and the dude's sitting there going, "This is fine.
This is fine.
This is fine." Right. That's and we're supposed to just swallow that and be like,
right?
No, dude, it's not fine, bro. Like,
I don't think you should be able to sleep at night. Like, I don't know how they fall asleep at night.
Hey guys,
well, but then I think that's the thing, though, is that you're dealing with people that are very sinister, and they're very. This is how they conduct themselves. Here's the thing. They're in this position. They are doing what they do. They have been selected. These are the people within our police system where they say, who's got a dark mind, who's got a black heart, and you're the right guy. Do you have any ill will about framing, covering up the murder of a Boston police officer and framing an innocent woman? No, I don't, sir. Well, you're the right man for our group. And that's
so you don't think any of them are embarrassed or like I just don't know how they look. Like, I really sometimes, like, the Canton police, like, do they really not know when they're not out trying to have to defend their agency? Like, when they're at home at night, do they really not think I failed?
I feel like the ones that have nothing to do with the investigation are super embarrassed. Like,
like the Mulaney from Canton, like he seems like a good guy. Like
the unis that are outside the courthouse. Like, maybe it's my imagination, but I feel like I just sense it. You know what I mean? Like, they just sense it on.
Mine is Hardman. Yeah, I agree with you.
Right.
Guys,
mine is Sergeant Hardman, but yes.
Mine is Hardman, right.
Since she's here for the first time, I want to make sure I give her a proper introduction. This is her first time on this channel, but I would like to welcome to the stage now Jen Altman.
Oh,
hey,
Jen Altman raid.
Jen Altman raid. Hi, Jason. Hi, Jen.
Thanks so much for being
here. Thank you. Hi, Mazza. Nice to meet you as well.
Speaking of rude people, Jen Altman is rude.
They don't really say that anymore.
That was a great phrase. I miss it.
That was a good phrase.
So, Jen, right before you popped on, we got a $5 super chat from Ms. Holmes 66.
Oh, Ms. Holmes, how much time do you have? What's my story? Like, how did I come into the Karen Reed?
Tell that story.
So it happened. I had been following Karen Reed's case for about a year and a half. And when House Long to Die in the Cold, I remember sitting on my couch watching the news, and it got brought up. And I was like, oh, yeah, that case, I remember, because I had wondered how she got upcharged. And so I started commenting on Facebook saying, I don't think she's guilty. I mean, they've got to drop the charges. This search just blows it out. And people were really mean to me. They were like, fuck you. Oh, sorry. But
no, you're fine. Keep talking.
No, there's no scoop on Chris Albert.
We addressed that already.
Yeah, I
it's
heard
a different
too.
Chris Albert.
So I started started commenting that I didn't, that I thought the case should be dropped. People were really mean, fuck you. She killed a cop, this and that. And so I think about a couple weeks went by, and I got an email from somebody named Natalie, and Natalie introduced herself as a friend of Karen Reed's and thanked me for my support. And then we talked back and forth for a few days. And then Aiden put out that little, and I've been following Aiden for years. He and I are friends personally. We have been for a few years. Yeah. And he put it out that he was going to do this story about a cop that was killed. So I reached out to him and I said, hey, I got a message from somebody named Natalie who claims that she's friends with Karen, and she's been like sending me pictures and different things. I think, I should hook you guys up. And we did. We had like a 3-way chat for a while, and she started talking about the FBI, Jen McCabe, and kind of putting together all the pieces. And so that's really my story about how I came in. And if anybody knows me, I'm very passionate about Karen's innocence. I'm very passionate about not spreading conspiracy theories or I saw this in a chat, so it must be true kind of thing. I'm very into the legal part of it. And so I've just kind of built a great community. We have a great community all together. I've made some very dear friends, and that's my story.
And she's the queen of taking down trolls.
Oh yeah,
I do like the trolls.
Like after I had been on Twitter, like just doing this case, talking about this case for a few months, and like the first time like somebody like came after me, I was like, I'm gonna message Jen Altman because she knows how to tell people. I think I reached out to you and I was like, hey, I love how you handle these people. Take a look at this person.
Jimmy,
help me.
And Deb calls me boots on the ground Twitter. I'm the one with the boots on the ground Twitter. And I'm very passionate about Aiden's case as well. I remember the Sunday morning after Aiden went to jail, I was laying in bed and I was like, I need to reach out to somebody that has a YouTube show so they can like start doing a show on Aiden and kind of keep this whole thing going. And I reached out to Will the Glarer and sent him an email. And he literally said to me, how do I know I can trust you? Who are you?
And she ended up describing herself as like basically a Tupac Shakur. Basically, she's like, well, basically, I'm like Tupac Shakur. And then Will was like, no.
But he trusted me. Ended up giving me his number and got him and LTL together to kind of take over Aiden's channel while he was gone. And they did amazing that first night. We raised a ton of money. I think close to $4,000 that first night.
Amazing.
And I'm just in this till the end, just like the rest of you, just like everybody.
Jen, I don't know how you had time to do all that while also acting as Aiden's attorney. It's amazing that you were able to get all of that done.
Recording my next rap album. I am the Pitbull
clothing line, perfume line,
running turtle boy. I do it all.
Jen is my sister from another mister when it comes to taking down the trolls. Jen, please, you have to tell the Enfield rubber duck story. Like you have to tell the Enfield rubber duck story.
So I was on a plane last summer to Nebraska to go visit a friend, and I get a message from somebody, and I have to look back to see who it is. And they said, I got to tell you something really funny. And if you guys don't know, Kim Fair is like my go-to on Twitter. And they said, I've been communicating with Kim Fair. I've convinced her that I work for Amazon, and that this is before we knew that Jason was Haley. And I've convinced her that I work for Amazon and that not Haley Walbrecht lives on
It's it's
Hazard Avenue.
Hazard Ave in Enfield,
in Connecticut,
yes.
and that he's
Enfield,
ordered
Connecticut.
Enfield, Connecticut, and that he's ordered 300 rubber duckies from Amazon. And this person had her convinced she was going through the phone book of everybody that lived on Hazard Avenue. And if you look it up, it's like this huge
It's the biggest road in Enfield, Connecticut.
Holy
And so she got on Twitter. She's like, I know who you are. I got you now. And I'm on this airplane just laughing as this person is sending me the messages. Thank you. Thank you. You've helped me so much, she's saying. And so she got most gullible in high school. We found out. And so, that was the best trolling I've seen so far.
And I had nothing to do with it. It was my favorite troll because I actually had nothing to do with it. But I did almost immediately drive to Enfield, Connecticut and take a picture next to the street sign on Hazard Avenue. Because
I feel bad for people that probably got messages from her. She find out their name. So, that was good trolling.
This phenomenon happens to me all the time. Like, there are people that I'm not related to in any way, shape, or form that I get reaching out to me. Hey, somebody contacted me and asked me if I knew you. Like, we share a last name, but like I've never heard of you before. And like people all the time, I see people will post a picture. I'm going to contact this person. And I'm like, when you do, give them my number so I can introduce myself, because I don't know who that person is.
They must have a lot of time on their hands.
I always felt bad. The same for Melanie Little, because it was this, you're Melanie Little, you're Mark the Priest, you're this. And you had all of these
Navy
people.
SEAL.
A Navy SEAL. All of these people that were harassed, because people were trying to find out who I was. I always felt bad about that, because I always reached out to the people and said, hey, listen, if you want to file some kind of defamation suit, I'll testify in your behalf. I'll do these things. Most people just, slink away because they're not built to be attacked every day.
It was pretty scary.
What I do.
Don't be afraid of them. They can't do anything to hurt you. They try and hit you where they think it'll hurt, and if you just show them doesn't bother you, I mean, we're in a great movement.
Their accuracy when attacking is about as efficient as the guy in Pulp Fiction when he misses John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson. That's about their level of efficiency.
I fell asleep during that movie 4 times. I tried to watch it.
Jesus.
It's actually a great.
Tarantino has a way about
God
it.
came down and stopped the motherfucking bullets, man. Okay.
Yeah, he's got a way where he can, he can have things move very slowly, but then all of a sudden everything just erupts. And it's very interesting. But I also like how much he scatters Easter eggs throughout his movies. Like Inglourious Bastards was one of my favorites, because every time I watched it, I noticed something new. But anywho, sorry, I love Tarantino.
Pulp Fiction had the perfect, he captured in Pulp Fiction the perfect tense situation. When they were trying to give her the shot for the OD, every single moment was perfect. It was the most intense thing. Like when he's like, what I need is a black magic marker. You got it? That's how people are. Like, stop talking to me. I'm looking for it. And the way that dialogue is written, it's the perfect tense situation. I've never seen it topped ever.
When Travolta yells about the pen, a felt pen.
Yeah. A felt pen.
I just want to point out that if we get 2 more people, we're going to be the Hollywood Squares here in a minute.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, we might.
Or the Brady Bunch, right? Yeah.
Brady Bunch.
Or I think. Wait, the Brady Bunch was 6, so I think we're past the Brady. Well,
no, they had 6 kids, and then Alice.
And they had Alice.
That's
Alice
right.
and the parents, yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I love the meme that they've done of the Brady Bunch showing like Morrissey, Brennan, Beverly. That one's made me happy. I was trying to do it myself, but I'm so shitty at computer work So I'm glad it was eventually done.
We have the best meme makers in this movement. I think that's
we
one
do.
thing that's for sure. It really is.
Funniest
The work has been
people.
incredible. Yep.
Yeah, we out meme the other side.
Oh, for sure. There's nothing. None of these
Yes.
people are creative. They're not. They're
Funny.
just. Yeah. It's not even right. It's not even fair. You know.
Oh yeah, their parody accounts are awful. They're not
Yeah.
like their parody accounts aren't funny. They're awful.
Yeah.
Some of them
No,
have
they're
some
gross.
funny names. I mean, Jimmy and I were talking about this last week when I was on his show. Like Mark Bedwettero, come on, that is hysterical.
That is pretty funny, actually. Yeah,
that's funny. Yeah.
It is the name is funny, but that might be the dumbest account on Twitter. Like
It is
that
the dumbest
really
account.
is.
Yeah.
I love Mark, but he's small. So you think about him, getting up into bed with his pull-up on. And, I love Mark. I've known him for 30 years.
I'm not
so I
doing
love
Mark like
him.
that. I'm not doing Mark like that. I
I
can't.
love him.
Yeah.
But most of those parody accounts are just gross. Like the names they come up with are
Disgusting.
nasty. Like they would get kicked off of any
It's
other
so
platform
funny.
just for existing.
Dude, and then they're like the dumbest people. There was one guy, it was like over a year ago, I think, and there was one guy who was just going crazy, just trolling like crazy and saying the most hateful things, and then all they had to do is just click on their profile and all you see is porn. You're just like, dude, like you're not even a serious person. Like I can't even talk to you. I don't.
Yeah,
I get those ones all the time. Yeah. There was a guy just yesterday.
Created your account yesterday.
There was a guy just today. I think Aiden and I both commented on his post because he was saying like UFKR people, like you're criticizing all of these people that left the party for not seeing a body, but like the plow driver didn't see a body. He's going on, and we're like,
duh.
Thank you. Like you're almost there. You've
There
almost
was
reached the correct
one guy
conclusion.
that said to me last year, like, I dare you to find out who I am. And literally like 5 minutes later, somebody messaged me on Facebook and said, hey, this guy is in your Facebook, it's in the Alties, he's in your Facebook group, and this is his name. And I went back on Twitter and outed him, and he was gone. So once you out them, they're gone.
Y'all give me 1 second. I just need to let my dogs out. I'll be right back.
Sure. Who let the dogs out?
Let the dogs out.
Brett.
Not a bad.
Who let the moms out?
Happy Mother's Day.
Mother's Day edition. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, guys.
But this is not even a troll. I think this is like a real person. I've never heard of them before, but it's a real first name, last name. I actually screenshot it because I was like, do people really think like this? It literally says, I'm so looking forward to hearing from Hank tomorrow. Friday was torture listening to Jackson. And I
imagine it would be if you're an idiot.
But I mean,
Jackson's back tomorrow.
It's hard. It just struck me as like this moment of like, because like Brennan is like nails on a chalkboard. I almost feel like his voice might be worse than Lally.
I'm
And
learning.
then somebody is excited to hear him, and I'm like, what different worlds we live in, y'all.
Jen was right.
I'm learning to take comfort in the fact that he has no case, so that when I listen to him argue, I can actually appreciate how deceitful he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't bother me so much to listen to him anymore, or I'm just learning how to enjoy the bothering that it
enjoyed me listening to him with Arca, the way he like had a little meltdown and like his yelling and like temper tantrum, like
like he's skating uphill, you know what I mean? So I'm learning to just like listen to him and just listen to him weasel his way.
Whiny.
And like it's getting to a point where Bev is even just like, I can't even do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why you're.
I gotta imagine
here.
on Friday he was just listening to Buchanan and just being like, oh,
dude, right?
All day
that is the worst
really
witness.
do.
Dude, next to Proctor, he is the worst witness the Commonwealth has ever had, ever.
I agree.
Ever.
Trooper Paul was pretty bad. I don't know, in a different way, but
he was funny bad.
Trooper Paul was, yeah. That's fair. Yeah,
I think that. I think
top
that,
three. I can't put him in order. I'd say
it's true.
Proctor's
I think
number
you're
one,
right.
but it's
Trooper Paul is not bad as in like corrupt, dirty. He's just dumb.
Yeah,
Right.
correct. I agree. But when you look at this too, now
but he managed to make the whole Commonwealth look bad. You know, like this is your expert.
It is true.
This is the guy. What? Like Jackson getting frustrated with him. It was like he was masturbating with a cheese grater trying to talk to this guy. He was going. he was just like, sir, like, do you understand the science of when you are trying to measure force?
Hey, so how'd the phone get there? It just did.
He's like, I don't know, math. And he's like, dude, no, physics, dude. Fucking physics.
But he got it
Like,
in his
how
math
do you-
class. He learned that in his math class.
I never even got to physics in high school. How does this guy have a college degree?
Has anyone noticed when we have these bad witnesses, like Buchanan's been horrible, how the trolls immediately get desperate and ramp up their activity? Like it's funny to watch, like because you could see on Friday they were going nuts, and you see now they're posting pictures of Aiden's sister today, and they're doing all of these horrible things, going after family members. It's so funny how every time, you know, when Cowboy Fan 105 or whatever, the supposed Chris Albert account is saying like, what the hell is Buchanan trying to lose this case for us? All of a sudden, everyone goes nuts. You know it's bad.
Yeah.
And
that
the
was a
fake
very telling
brother-
tweet.
That's what happens is they get desperate. Like the trolls will get real nasty when things are going bad. That's one sign is when you go on Twitter and you see how low they get. They're not even trying to argue anymore. They'll just go in there and be like, you're you're a woman
fat.
beater.
You're
You know,
right.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got a DUI.
Right.
KK.
So do you.
Pretend
Just
to be a
say
woman
back
on
to them, so do you.
What was that, Mazza?
I said, just say right back to them. So do you.
Right.
Somebody even
probably
made
true.
a troll account. It was Jen Altman's Weight Watcher account, and they would follow me around and be like, "Don't eat that. Don't have that burger.
Jeez.
Don't eat the flan Jimmy made you."
That's
but you have to
fucked
like,
up.
yeah, I know.
It's fucked up.
Jimmy loved it. Jimmy wanted his own.
I can appreciate the clever ones, actually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Right. I mean, that is pretty clever. It's
It
mean
is.
as fuck, but it's clever.
But
there's
you know
so
what?
few of
It's
them
not
that
even-
stand out.
It's not even true. You know, anybody that's met me. But even
Right.
if it was, who cares? Who cares? I'm
What
53
was the
years
name
old
of-
at this point in my life. I really don't.
Yeah. No
Right.
tolerance
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
yeah.
previous-
Totally.
There's something about that, Jen. I'm 52, and like you can't say anything to me. I just don't care. Like you're
Dude,
not gonna
totally.
you're not gonna say something that's gonna hurt my feelings. It's just not
I
gonna
love
happen.
being old, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, me
love
too.
The
being
best.
old. It's
the
dope as
best.
fuck.
Yeah, that's the
Seriously,
level
like,
of
I just
adolescence
don't-
that we're dealing with, though. On the other side, they have adolescent behavior. These are people that either still act like they're in middle school or high school when they insult people online because they can't make you can find more than a handful of people on our side, though, make a strong argument as to why Karen Reed's innocent and why the Commonwealth is basically framing her. And that is, they just have insults most of the time, and you have very few people on their side that even try to make any kind of argument. And even if you try to get into a debate with them, like Britt was talking about earlier on the show, they just turn to insulting you and saying all kinds of horrible things about you or trying to dox
But
you.
it's
And
funny
it's
because
yeah,
you just don't, like you just don't care.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I'm almost 50, and the
Right.
irony, the beautiful irony, is that I am too old to give a shit about being childish. So I will
Yeah.
get super childish and not care at all.
I like being childish
I-
sometimes.
Right, I am not self-conscious about it in the slightest bit.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like, what? There's nothing you could say to me. There's nothing that, like, you cannot affect me. You're a stranger. You're on the computer.
Right.
You're a thing on my phone. You're a fake. You're an avatar of God knows
Yeah.
what. You know.
I say that a
Fake
lot.
name.
They,
Yeah.
they really don't like that. I say that a lot. Like you actually don't even exist. Like
Right.
You're
Right.
literally
Right.
You're not even real.
And the truth
Not
is,
a
let's
real
be honest
person.
here.
Yep.
Of the 5,000 troll accounts that exist, they're operated by about a dozen people tops. Let's all be honest here. It's the same
Bot
people
farms.
switching
bot
accounts all day long.
farms
Yeah.
and-
Like, it's a little dark, but the fact is that one of those troll accounts, if the person behind it dropped dead, nobody would know or care.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
their troll persona has
so
definitely surpassed their own.
What makes them think that we're going to be hurt by anything they have to say? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
The only time insults really hurt is when you're self-conscious about something, or mostly
100%.
it's the person, it's where it's coming from.
Right, you
That's
respect
where
the person who's insulted you, or
the person who insults you. That's where it hurts if it comes from
Mhm.
somebody that you respect or like or something. But
Yep.
some stranger, Karen
Who won't even
Reed
show their
balloon knot.
face.
Yeah, Karen Reed balloon knot. Like that means nothing. Whatever you say to me means nothing.
Nothing. I agree. 100%.
I had a troll account yesterday that was complaining, that came in with ridiculous theories, and they were insulting everybody. And then they were mad that people called them names. And I said, you could try not being a moron if you don't want to be called stupid. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like,
Right.
that's but when we see those things, to me, it is just like, all right, you say your little line, I'll say my little line. And now can we get back to actually talking about this case and what's happening here? But they're not capable of that, because most of them don't care. Most of them don't care about the Karen Reed trial. They only care about Aiden Carney. They don't care about John O'Keefe. They're not people who are serious people who they're offended that this happened. And, they are literally, we're going to oppose Aiden Carney. Look at 90% of their names are related to him.
Right. They're Aiden Carney contrarians. That's all they are. They're here to take the opposition, and that's all they, and they'll try to tell you, and some of the top ones will try to tell you out and out, I absolutely believe that Karen Reed, no, you do not. Stop it. You have a long history of feuding with Aiden that goes back years, and you just happen to have an opposite view on this particular subject because Aiden has gotten so much, he's multiplied his following through this whole process.
I love it.
And
it's
these
like
people,
the more he's hated, the more successful he gets, dude.
Right, exactly.
They pay $15 a month to join Turtle Club. That's
I love that. I mean, look at Kim Fair, the liberal who literally wrote that she loathes cops a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Aiden wrote an article on her and that she hates racists and homophobes. Now, some of her closest friends on Twitter are racists and homophobes, and she's praising the police community. If Aiden thought Karen was guilty, she would have a closet full of pink clothes and she would be out there.
Mm-hmm.
There is no doubt in my mind.
For
so
sure.
People have actually changed who they are on the inside because they hate Aiden so much. And that's sad to me. I can't imagine having that much hate.
Actually, I kind of learned from
exhausting. It just seems so exhausting. Like,
yes,
I could think of and I'm somebody who gets bored real easy. I could still think of an infinite more amount of things that I could be doing than putting so much energy into hating somebody. Like, they hate Aiden so much. It's so wild. Like, when you watch it, you're just like, dude, you don't have a dog to pet? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
I like this comment from Amy. At one point, I actually asked Aiden if he'd consider giving me a commission for the number of people who pay for super chats on his show to try and insult me. It didn't work out.
It's my goal to piss people off in the chat so they'll give to Aiden so they can read a comment about how mean I am.
It
called
is
the
funny.
troll toll.
The one thing I've learned from him is how to collect all of these people that hate me and get them to unify as like a super villain force. So that's I've been successful in accomplishing that a couple of times already.
So I do have to tell you guys, tomorrow I have to go to court in Marlboro because Steve Cody is being sentenced tomorrow.
Oh boy.
Who's Steve Cody?
The pizza troll. Yeah, he's the one that
pizza guy.
Suspected turtle killer. The
suspected
that guy.
So he's been in jail for the last 4 months. He's been at Billerica for the last 4 months. He got picked up on a violation of probation that he was on for violating the harassment order I had on him 3 times. He's being brought up on charges for making false reports to DCF about somebody else, criminal harassment. So he's going tomorrow. I have to go with a few other people and make some impact statements, and hopefully we'll never hear from Steve Cody again.
Oh, you're gonna kill it too. That's awesome.
You know, when
Good for you,
people,
Ben.
I get offended when people say that he's the pizza guy because he also sent Chinese food to my house.
He
I want
did
to be
in
fair.
Koreans. Koreans. Too.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Chinese also.
I literally, he's one of the reasons that I had to go to the police department here in town and register my address as a swatting risk. So I actually had to go and meet with the police and
Wow.
have a conversation and talk about that, because not just him, but this weird band of psychos that are attached to him started to take up his
Should
cause.
always do
And
that. Every creator should do that.
yeah,
Wow.
it's just a matter of time till, you know, and here in Bristol, Connecticut, we had a horrific scene where the police were ambushed at a 911 call and 2 officers were shot and killed.
Wow.
A third one was injured, and he heroically shot, like he made like an Olympic level gold medal pistol shot to take out the shooter with 1 bullet. But it's a really sore subject here, and whoever wants anyone to be in that position. But I literally had to go and have that conversation with the police and
Well,
sit
he
down and
lives
have my address registered.
He lives 15 minutes away from me, which was a little concerning. But
Craziness.
you know, I think he'll be sentenced to prison for at least a year, and he's still got charges. He messaged Mello and told Mello that he was going to burn his house down.
Jeez.
Oh dear.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah. So everybody think of me and the other people. I hate to say victims because we're not victims. Tomorrow at noon.
Do you know if is there a Zoom for his hearing? Do you know?
I think there is. I will try and get it for you. It's Marlborough District Court in Massachusetts. Marlborough, Massachusetts.
Great. I'll definitely look that up.
Britt, I have to jump off, you guys. Thank you so much for having me. It was so nice
Thanks
to
for
meet everyone.
coming.
I've been following you all online, so I'm so happy to get to like talk to you kind of in person, virtually, I guess. So, what's the latest goal, Mazza? It passed 2,000, right?
Yeah, we're
2,000?
gonna see if we can go for 25.
That's
Yeah, we're-
awesome. Good
we're
job,
at
Britt.
We're at $2,264.
That's
Awesome.
amazing. All right, thank you guys. Thank you, Britt.
Thank
I'm
you so
so
much for
excited.
coming,
I
Carrie.
cannot wait. I hope Buchanan is on cross all day again tomorrow.
All day.
And good luck, Jen. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Nice to
Bye,
meet
Carrie.
y'all.
I'll
Take
talk to you
care.
soon.
Carrie, bye.
For those of you who don't follow her, let me pull up her exact account on Twitter. It's Carrie Cherry, some number, like 75 or 77.
Carrie Cherry 75.
Thank you. All right,
Welcome.
so guys, Carrie Cherry 75. If you don't follow her, make sure you do. She posts the most eloquent, I don't know what to call it, meditations, very, very Olivia Lambo-esque. In her thoughts. She is absolutely brilliant. She points out inconsistencies so well. She's an amazing person to have on this side of the fence for sure. So
Yeah, her she's got a great account. Yeah. We have so many brilliant people on our side. It's crazy.
yeah, we do. This really has, you know, like I said, kind of helped me see the best in humanity again. Thank you so much for your donation, C1982. Oh, Mimi, to follow Jason. His Twitter username is the name of his YouTube channel is On Your Case, right? On Your Case Media.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And then
Although I only have one
HW
video up there. I haven't really launched it, but I just did put my my Twitter in the chat.
There we go. There she blows.
And I see Mary Bagwell there.
HW.
Hi, Mary Bagwell. Happy
Oh,
Mother's
hey,
Day.
Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day to you. Glad you're here. Mary came on this show a couple weeks ago. We did a fundraiser for Aiden, and she talked about what she went through at the Stoughton District Court, which, I mean, another pie that Meatball's fingers are in, so to speak. It's sickening. It's disgusting. So, make sure that you guys support her and support Aiden's case as well. And if you'd like to see it, it's from a couple weeks ago. It's a fundraiser on this stream. If you don't know her story, make sure you go back and watch that on here.
Yeah, I have the distinct pleasure of having, aside from this, following this case and Aiden's case and doing this stuff on Twitter, I have been commenting on local stories here in Bristol, Connecticut. On my Facebook page, we have some controversy with our Board of Ed or whatever else. And I have the distinct pleasure of now on my local community pages here talking about Lindsay Gaetani, talking about Kate Peter, because the people who oppose me locally or who are the opposite side of the political issues I'm on or whatever else have gone out and Googled me and found these trolls writing about me. So I love it. Every once in a while, one of them will. Kate has a friend named Jim Finch who runs a site called Really Cool Site, who wrote an article about me about Lindsay Gaetani's fake article that she posted online. And so that pops up. And I love it whenever someone tries to use those against me, because I now just have links saved of like all of my work on Lindsay Gaetani, so I can say, oh, I'm glad you decided to align with this person. Perhaps you'd care to join me on May 28th when she's arraigned for threatening to kill a single mother and her children. And then I immediately hit him with the YouTube link where they can hear the recording of Lindsay Gaetani actually threatening Mary Bagwell. And then all of the links of the articles that I've written about her on Twitter. And I'm like, feel free to, if that's the person whose side you want to take to oppose me on this issue about the school superintendent in Bristol, Connecticut. I don't know how they're related, but if you want to relate them, feel free. Please come read my other work on this topic, So
you're just shooting yourself in the foot with your credibility by doing that too. It's kind of like having little traps laid out for them.
It really is. It's the same kind of desperation we see from the trolls here on Twitter, right? They're desperate. They need to find anything they can that's negative, and they think that's what's going to get you. So they're going to go out there and they're going to throw it out there without watching out for the landmines that they're walking into. So I enjoy it.
Jeez.
My wife, not so much. So she doesn't like it as much.
Well, yeah, probably not. I mean, Mr. Brit Happens doesn't enjoy certain parts of this either.
I got the nicest message from Mr. Brit Happens. I will never forget that.
Oh, well, of some of the complications of my very first trip to Massachusetts, and Jason made it to where I didn't have to worry as much, and neither did Mr. Brit Happens. So
I myself was terrified, so it's fine.
That Sarah be creative. I am desperate to get your guys' attention.
Oh,
what can we do for you, Sarah?
Hang on, let me scroll back. Sorry, Miss Sarah. I don't see.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Sarah. Just post whatever else that you were thinking. Oh well. Okay. Yeah. Just type it back in, whatever you were trying to say. Yeah. See, just get to know Altman, and she's an amazing human. And then you also are a medical professional, right?
I am. I've been a respiratory therapist for 27 years.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the thing with John, I mean, I worked in a level 1 trauma. I saw people hit by cars. They don't look like John O'Keefe. They just don't. They just don't. And even there was somebody did like a reconstruction with an arm and a light that it was at the back of the SUV. Aiden showed it last night on his show, and I don't really feel like that shows either, because the light was like kind of hanging on a thing on the back of a car, whereas a light that's in the car it's nestled in there. It's in there nice and tight. An arm is not going to break that. It's not going to. And so
well, if you hit a polycarbonate object hard enough to break the taillight,
you're going to have a broken arm.
You're going to see fractures and bruising. I'm not even a medical professional, and I know that, but also I have firsthand experience with that kind of thing. My hip is in 9 pieces. All my ribs have been broken, and I still have a bone fragment in my shoulder. So, I mean, I know
God
good and
damn.
well that you don't suffer that kind of trauma to the head.
No, I broke my
Without
leg
anything
4
else.
years ago in half and had an open fracture of my lower leg, and it was from falling on the ice. So don't tell me that a
Yikes.
car did that.
Did you try to stop yourself with your knuckles?
I did. I did. They were all scratched up.
We
It's
all
like,
do that.
Yes, we all do that. Oh my God, that was so stupid.
Bless.
I'm
Someone-
glad he's not being called. I really am. I don't feel, I mean, I'm okay with Colin not being called. I didn't think he was.
I don't think-
What's my Twitter account? My Twitter account is @saltyqueen2222.
He doesn't really provide any value because he's just going to get on the stand and not remember anything anyway. So it's not like he's
True.
it's not like he's going to provide any value to the jury in terms of what they're going to learn.
No.
I will say this though, for the whodunit people, having that ruling really said a lot to a lot of people.
Sure did.
Well, it's actually
Just
funny because
saying.
yeah, I don't care if he's called, but I actually don't support the ruling that he couldn't be called. You know what I mean? That's a
Agree.
different story. That's a
I
different
agree.
story.
I agree with that.
And that actually wasn't the ruling. The ruling was that he couldn't be
mentioned
identified
as a third party
culprit, right?
Right.
But still, and I think that, but I think that her stance in the first trial was much more reasonable, which is if you're going to identify a person as a third party culprit, you have to build an evidentiary foundation for that. And I could see that being the same ruling here. For her to have ruled that out for him ahead of time was a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Was I on Miss Shorty's last night? No, I was not on Miss Shorty's channel last night. That would not happen.
Hallelujah.
Probably not me.
Makes me wonder who was though. Maybe you.
I
have a
know. I'm gonna have to go
doppelganger.
back and look.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll
Jen
have to
O.
see.
Jen O said that Jen Altman is so not rude, and I think that Jen Altman is rude in all the best ways. So I have to disagree.
I'm okay.
She's a
with
nice
it.
lady, but she'll cut a bit.
Oh no, we have too many references coming up right now that are on.
Right. I ain't a killer, but don't push me,
Right. That's what Tupac said, right? Did Tupac say that? See, they call me Tupac
Yeah.
Shakur, and I don't even know any of his songs. I've never listened to him.
Oh.
It's a
Ain't
little
nothing
too
but a
much of
gangsta
a
party.
N-word for me. And
Ain't nothing but an Altman party.
There we go.
We get a little improve there. We have
Jen,
a
someday when
huge.
you're not here anymore, we're going to bring you back as a hologram, just like we did with him.
Yep.
So it's fine.
Well, we have a very huge announcement for the latest
Okay.
total. Are you guys ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. Okay, it's $2,629.43.
Wow.
Hallelujah.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yep.
Amazing. Well, thank you all
Great.
so much for doing this with me tonight. Thank you, everybody who was viewing. Thank you, everybody who donated. We were able to get a lot done for Karen in like 2.5 hours. So
yay.
yeah,
That's awesome.
that was stellar. Less than 2.5 hours.
Yep.
People power.
Yeah, 100%. I appreciate each and every one of you. I know Karen appreciates each and every one of you. Again, she's going to read, every message that she sees on that donation page. So, just make sure that you're going to bed knowing that you've made a difference. And if you can't donate anything, then just share the streams of everybody that you see up here and help people get educated on this, because if it's allowed to happen anywhere, then it will start happening everywhere. So don't think that because this is nowhere near where you live that it doesn't affect you, because it absolutely affects every one of us. Does anyone else have any,
Absolutely.
anyone else have any announcements, final thoughts, housekeeping?
I
The
just want
funds
to.
keep coming.
Yeah, I just want to thank you, Brett and Mazza, for doing the totaling there. Again, this is amazing. This is how we, Karen's almost at $1 million, and any day we're going to be breaking that threshold. And to have streams like this, even if someone didn't donate, you're raising the awareness and you're getting the site out there. This is definitely going to happen.
Yep.
So definitely a round of applause for you guys out there. So
thank you to whoever has sound bits, because I don't yet. I need to figure out how to do that.
On someone else's stream, I don't have control of my sound, so there wasn't.
Well, I need to figure out how to even get them. So
it's a process. You just have to download stuff and then add them to your StreamYard.
Oh, like your StreamYard or whatever.
Yeah.
I just played a YouTube video into my mic, so I don't. That's
you can only fit
the practical way, right?
That's awesome. Well, thank you all so much for your time and for your participation. Thank you again to everyone who donated. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up and get my dogs fed and maybe get myself fed as well. But I appreciate each and every one of you. Jen, especially, this is your first time on here. Thank you so much, and happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Yeah, happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
All the baby mamas.
Thank you,
Mamas.
Britt, can you put that final total message up on the screen? I want to grab a screenshot of this so you can put it on your X page for later.
Oh, that I shall. Thank you so much. Final total $27.44 and 43 cents.
Wow. Perfect.
Amazing. That's unbelievable stuff in a couple of hours.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think with the people that donated and didn't add in the Brit Happens, it's definitely over 3,000. So congratulations on
correct.
That. There was people mentioning in the chat that they forgot to tag it and everything else. So congrats.
I saw a couple of those.
Let's just call it an even 3.
I think so.
I ended up counting the pretty much all the ones that came through, regardless, throughout the show. So if they had the Brit tag or not, I basically just counted it.
Oh, good job.
In. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good deal.
All right.
Good deal. All right, y'all. Well, I hope each
and
every one of you has a wonderful, wonderful night. See y'all again, hopefully very soon. And you too, Scott. You too. All right, guys. Well, peace, love, and butt dials. I'm going to hang it up here. Oh, thank you, Pat Randall. Oh, I should probably go through all the super chats and just thank them real quick, too. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go. You guys have a great night.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, Jen. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you again.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Take care. All right, guys. All right. So let's see. Oh, God, I am way too big. I don't like that shit. What a big day for Karen. Right? Carla, thank you so much for becoming a new member. You now have access to some amazing emoji. In fact, I just added another one, a what the duck emoji. So, and I'm going to be adding a Proctor one very soon.
All right, that's it. Dishonor on your whole family. Make a note of this. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow.
Thank you, Romy, for being a member for 2 months. Happy Mother's Day to you. Let's see, Catherine, I will do another just solo stream very soon. I wanted to make sure I addressed this question. I'll do another solo stream pretty soon to just talk about the trip. Thank you, Kat, for being a member for 1 month and for gifting a membership. I appreciate it. Meatball back again. Meatball's back. Tell a friend. Thank you, Mama She 13 for your 10. Love this panel. It was a great panel, wasn't it? Aren't they just amazing humans? Thank you for I don't know if that's a super sticker or or if it's a super chat, but thank you, Jen Doggos. Crochet Crime, we addressed you. Thank you for your 20. Thank you, Meatball, again for your 5. Thank you, Scooter, for becoming a new member. The Goodmans are members now. Awesome Possum, you have access to some of the coolest emojis and some dog content. So thank you, Kat, again. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It is the mission from God, 100%. Thank you, Norman Corey, for your 20. And yeah, happy to do this for Karen. And guys, just so you know, everything that y'all are donating in the super chats, part of it's going to get eaten up by YouTube, but I will try to figure out how much I need to forward to the Karen Reed Defense Fund and do that. Collusion can't prove a collision. Thank you for your 5. Thanks to the panel for all you do. Happy Mother's Day to the moms and peace to all. Free Karen Reed, free Turtle Boy. A to the men, roll tide. Ms. Holmes, thank you for your 5. I'm not even an Alabama fan. I just say roll tide because I live in the South and I hear it all the fucking time. Let's see. Meatball, again, thank you for your 10. Yes, I saw that case and I plan to look into it a little more. Marianne, this was addressed earlier, but it's a different Chris Albert. So there's not really a thing. Let's see. Oh, but thank you for your 2. Jay Coop. I don't know. I haven't heard anything confirmed. Nobody really spoke up when I had this up on the screen, but thank you for your 5. Ms. Holmes 66, thank you again for your 5. Yes. Jen Root, make sure you look into her brother Justin's case. Thank you, Cad Monkey, for your 5. Thank you, Sarah B. Creative. Love your guts. Sarah B. Creative, again, thank you for your 10. Okay, I am a Wu-Tang Clan fan, and then the blankie that I use when it gets really cold in here is Bone Thugs. I love Bone Thugs and Harmony. I bought this at a concert of theirs. Is it upside down or backwards? I don't know. I don't know if y'all can see it. But the Bone Thugs and Harmony blankie. I'm a huge Busy Bone and Crazy Bone fan. Thank you, ShamWow, for your 7. My guitar gently weeps for Karen, but we will rock you. Hey, Britt, happens. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to you. And thank you again for your 7. Kat, thank you again for gifting a membership. And Ruth Ann, thank you for being a member for 1 month. Yeah. No, ain't nothing to fuck with. Yeah, Inspected Deck is my dude. Is 100% my dude. Ruth Ann, thank you for popping back in. It was great seeing you tonight. Well, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and head on to bed. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave up my other accounts and contacts. If any of y'all need to reach me for any reason, I'll leave that going up here for a little bit. Thank you again to everybody who donated tonight. We were able to raise over $2,700 for Karen. That is stellar. That might get her part of an expert. So hey, every little bit counts. So I'll have this up for a while. I hope y'all have a great night. Peace, love, and butt dials, and free Karen Reed.